Now, I stand before you and I am very proud that South Africa, using some of these rankings, is ranked most competent on two components of one pillar. The components are the strength of auditing and reporting standards, which is something that I think we should feel proud that we have earned ourselves when compared against other 143 nations across the globe, given our recent history of where we come from. Having to build institutions, in some instances from scratch, in other instances benefiting from institutions that were not covering the rest of the country, but now have come a long way to earn us this position. Of course, South Africa also does well on measures of the quality of its institutions and on factor allocation, such as intellectual property protection. But particularly impressive, ladies and gentlemen, is our country's financial market development, indicating with high confidence in South Africa's financial markets at a time when trust is only starting to return, or trust in financial markets, excuse me, is only starting to return in other parts of the globe. On the component of strength of auditing and reporting standards, South Africa has been ranked #1, as I indicated, for 3 consecutive years. For 3 consecutive years. I mean, even if, ladies and gentlemen, you didn't get served good quality food, I think that we owe ourselves a round of applause. But of course, we should jealously protect this. The fact that we've been ranked #1 for 3 consecutive years does not mean that we should be complacent, but I shall turn to this later on. These combined attributes make South Africa the most competitive economy in our region. What puts South Africa in the map and has sustained our competitiveness in the quality of its legislative and regulatory framework, is the quality of our legislative and regulatory frameworks, including the Companies Act, the Public Finance Management Act, Municipal Finance Management Act, our King reports on governance, as well as a range of professional standards that we adhere to. So on the specific subject of the role of audit committees, ladies and gentlemen, the King report describes an audit committee as an independent committee that fulfills a vital role in governance, including the following: monitoring the integrity of both financial and non-financial information, reviewing systems of internal controls, which is an area of weakness in a major area, of course, amongst a number of our institutions, particularly at a municipal level. Monitoring compliance with laws and regulations, and finally, monitoring effectiveness of the internal audit function. Given these responsibilities, how can we and how can you make audit committees more effective? The United States National Association of Corporate Directors Blue Ribbon Commission on the Audit Committee lists 10 principles that can ensure that audit committees play the role that we would like them to play, particularly in our jurisdiction, to make sure that we sustain and continue to improve our standing in these rankings, even on the dimensions that we have not been ranked close to the top. In the interest of time, I'm not going to describe them at length as I'm doing in the speech. I will just summarize them, ladies and gentlemen, but those of you who are not IT challenged like me, you will be able to find the speech on YouTube. I will arrange with the organizers of the program that I hand them this thing. I can really feel bad now. I feel left out because I don't have a status on, what is this thing called? On Twitter, yeah. The program director suggests that I don't need that. To achieve this, you and all of us, we should be proactive. That's principle number one. Don't only wait and react after things have happened. Perhaps I should resist the temptation to explain simple things. We must insist on transparency. We must focus closely on external financial communications and go beyond financial statements in doing so. We must question the continuing validity of the key assumptions that we make. We must assess the audit committee's role in the oversight of risk management. We must set clear expectations for both internal and external auditors. We must make sure that CFOs and the entire finance organization, as well as internal audit, have what they need to succeed. Very importantly, they must get the support right from the top. Which takes us to the next principle, which is to assess the tone right from the top. Now, if you look at my own institution, at least after being there for 14 years, I think I can say my own institution. Maybe this is the time to say it just before there is realignment. The internal auditors that I have, if they feel that I don't support my own internal audit function, that I don't give serious consideration to the risks, enterprise risks that they identify, that we don't take proactive steps to make sure that we mitigate those risks, we act on each and every one of them, then they should know that there is something wrong and act on it. And of course, I've got bosses, so they should report that to them. We must always make sure that we link whatever changes we make to risk management, or we understand the risks that would be associated with any changes that we make. And also, finally, take a hard look at the audit committee's effectiveness. Now, chief in this business of internal audit is making sure that given enterprises that can be as huge as, for instance, the department that I happen to head, if you try to cover everything and rank everything to be as important as the next one, as an audit committee who have got limited time, then your effectiveness would be undermined. So your profession, ladies and gentlemen, has done South Africa proud, at least so far. We know the rankings that we have earned. We know what it has taken to get there. The will and the desire to always challenge ourselves to do better every time. But of course, as the old saying goes, one is as good as one's last performance. The fact that we have earned ourselves the ranking that we have earned, insofar as the few dimensions that we happen to be at the top of the 144 countries ranked by WEF, should not make us to be complacent. It does mean that we must continually challenge ourselves to do even better, first in those dimensions that we're already doing very well on, but also seek or exploit any opportunity that we find to do better in the other dimensions as well, so that we can stay right at the top and hope that we can earn and maintain our competitiveness in that regard. So, my advice to you and to all of us is that we should not bask in the glory of our past performance. Perhaps we should be like golfers, you know. I won't ask how many of you play golf, because I suspect that none of you do. But they say that, you know, in golf you must always forget how you played the last time. Even on a course, you know, you must forget how you've played on the, do you call it the last hole or something? I see the gentleman is nodding, he understands golf. In my case, I don't, but I just listen when they speak about it. So we live in a world where regulatory frameworks developed yesterday are proving inadequate in containing the risks that tomorrow brings. The same applies to your profession. So, as the Blue Ribbon Commission has cautioned, we must take a hard look at the Audit Committee's effectiveness and find ways to continually improve our effectiveness. For it is only through that, ladies and gentlemen, and Program Director, that we can continue to register the successes that we have, given the short history that we have had as a democracy since 1994. With that very long speech, I thank you very much. And fortunately for me, there is no time for questions. Bye-bye.